To break free from financial instability, you need to address these root causes and take intentional steps towards change, which is the next step in on your journey to financial stability. So in this video, basically, we're just going to be looking at evaluating our financial realities. These are practical classes, and we'll look at setting smart financial goals, and then we'll look at evaluating opportunities for diversification of your finances. So in that video, I also described how that most times financial instability is often stemmed from internal factors and less of external factors. Because we're in a country where there are still people in this country who are making at least $8 million in 2 months. They're still in this country. Yes, right. I can give you names of people who are allegedly making millions of dollars every month. So, what is then the difference? It's not about, of course, okay, you can talk about the external reasons. Your salary is not being increased. You don't have, what you're earning. Basically, it's just what you're earning, right? What you're earning maybe in your business or in your workplace is not increasing and it's not even matching up with the economic realities. But truth be told, most of the time, the major reason is from internal. So, if you have not checked the previous video where I elaborated on each of these reasons, I would leave a link in the description below to that video. You should check it out, and then we can continue on this practical aspect of understanding and evaluating your financial reality. So, my first question to you is, what does financial freedom mean to you? And this is not a rhetorical question. Like I said, this is a practical session, and I need you to take note of these things. If you have a pen there, or I want you to get a pen or your notepad and write these things down. What does financial freedom mean to you? Right? Because when you ask a lot of people, financial freedom can mean owning fleet of cars, owning houses, or being able to do whatever they want at any time. Right? So, in one sentence, I need you to describe what state you will be in for you to be able to classify yourself as financially free, right? That you're financially stable. At what state would you say, oh, okay, I am financially stable at this state? These are questions that we should always ask ourselves within, to drive our mind for the active change that we're looking for in whatever means. Because if you don't ask these questions, then day in, day out, we'll just be engaged in doing activity. One thing that finances does is a measure of the value that we give or the value that we offer to people, right? It's one way to measure, right? So, what does financial freedom mean to you? So, let's look at the economic realities. Because if we don't look at the economic reality, we'll just be talking in abstract. Now, despite having the largest economy in Africa, Nigeria still remains, right? Offers limited opportunities to most of its citizens, and we can see it in everything that is playing around us. Number one, look at the rate of exchange rate. $1 is to 160. 1,600 naira. It's a high exchange rate, and since I've been born, we only used to hear the stories of when naira was above. Used to be above dollar, but it has never come down. When naira was one naira, 86 or 89 naira at that time to $1, and it kept growing. It never dropped. It never dropped. And I'm in my 30s now, and I've never experienced a time when they say, "Oh, the economy has dropped than what we had the previous year." So inflation is keeps going high, right? And look at the salary structure. What is your salary saying at the moment? How much are you earning if you work maybe in the civil or corporate environment? How much is your salary as against what the economy is saying, right? And then if you're in business, like an entrepreneur like I am, what is your profit region? What's the profit margin that you're having in your business currently? What's your profit margin? And every day we keep having increase in the cost of living. Increase in cost of living, your house, the food you eat, everything is increasing by the day. But there's one constant thing, your salary or the amount that you earn. Because there is a power and there's a powerful currency in the world that is practically determining the cost of living or the cost of how we live in the country, Nigeria. So this is our reality today. And I'm sure that a lot of us, I mean, all of us here understand this reality. It's not abstract to us, right? So if understanding this would take us to the next level. So how many financial, I mean, income streams do you have currently? How many income streams do you have? Either your job, you have a side hustle, you have a remote work, you have list everything out, right? Then list out how much each of these things are bringing to you every month, right? Now let's establish, I mean, to that's simply identifying your income streams. Remember, I said that if you don't know where you are at, you can't get out of where you are. I mean, get out of it. Talk more of get to a place that you're going to financially. You understand? So identify those income streams. For example, like I've given you different examples, your workplace. Then which of it is your primary source of income and which of them are your secondary source of income? There is a primary source of your income. What is the primary source of your income? And what is secondary? So what are the secondary source of your income? Primary source of your income is that source that gives you the 80% of your income right now, right? The Pareto, what's the guy's name again? That 80-20 principle or the 80-20 rule says that 80% of the results you get is given to you. I mean, is comes out more from the 20% of effort that you put in, right? So, which for me, when it comes to finances, I ask this question: what you pay 80% of your time to is what your primary source of income is. So that will help you analyze. So, what should I be paying 80% of my time to? If one is giving you what you are paying 20% of attention to is giving you 80% of results. Imagine you then switching it to say, I want to pay 80% of my attention to this thing that is giving me the 80% of my finances. So, but let's go back. So, you have a primary source. What is the primary source? Maybe your job right now, you work in a corporate environment. Then, your secondary source, you do freelancing by the side, you sell one or two clothes also by the side. So, let's list everything out and how much each of those things are, I mean, bring in for you monthly. How much does it bring in for you monthly? So, that is we identifying your sources of income. It's very important. Now, when you have done that, now let's move to the delicate part of this conversation. So, number two, then now is assessing expenses and liabilities. Assessing expenses and liabilities. And we'll look at that through what I acronymed facts of life. So, currently, I'm doing a challenge. It's a 30 days challenge with my community, and it's evolving 30 days challenge. You can see the shirt I'm wearing, and it says evolve in 30 days challenge. And I have this journal where all of these things I'm even talking about is within the journal, and we use it to plan for the year, right? So I came up with this acronym fact years ago when I was in the university. Of course, the story of evolve that was read to you during my profile reading. It's a fact of life. And one way to know your financial status is to understand the basic facts of life. I call it facts of life, right? FACT. FACT. Being able to identify your financial position or your financial status at the moment. Where do you stand? So, what is fact? Fact is an acronym for everything that you spend on, all your liabilities, all your expenses in life. And it's just a way to simplify them. So, number one is food. So, how do you do this? I broke it down really deep within the journal of how to do it, and I'm going to share with us. So, because like I said, you must first know where you are. Are you owing yourself? So, this will help you determine if you are owing yourself first. Because the truth is, a lot of people are owing themselves financially. Talk more of the people they are owing externally, right? So, let's determine that. How much do you spend on food every day? Yes, I said every day because in developed nations, if you go to work, they pay you by the hour. They don't pay you by month. They pay you by the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And that's why we have a lot of redundant staff in, especially in the civil service in Nigeria today, because they pay you at the end of the month. So whether you complete your tax for the hour or for the day or not, you are waiting for the pay at the end of the month. And it reduces a great reduction of productivity. But if people are being paid by the hour, you see a lot of productivity and you even see a lot of value for your time and effort, right? So so if you really want to understand your financial status and get out of financial instability, you have to do by the day, you have to understand how much is your living expenses every day, so that you know that, hey, today I must be able to earn this for me to say that I am at least at equilibrium with my financial reality, right? So the way to calculate this simply is calculate how much you spend on food every month, then divide it by 30 days. So in a month, say you buy food in your house, everything you use for the preparation of your food. So in this example, I'm going to use eating out, for example. In the current reality of Nigeria, the average food you eat outside today is nothing less than, on average, 3,000 naira for a meal. 3,000 naira. So if you do 2 meals a day or 3 meals a day, let's do 2 meals. That's 6,000 naira every day times 30 days. So you spend on food 6,000 naira every day. Example, right? So let's keep that aside. The next is A, which is accommodation. How much are you spending currently on your accommodation? Say you are living in a self-con, you are living in a two-bedroom. How much does it cost? Then divide it by 365 days, because you pay rent once in a year, right? So divided by 365 days, that's how much you spend on accommodation every day, including your utility bills, or your NEPA bills, your waste bin collection, whatever, everything that has to do with your accommodation every day, right? How much is it in the year? Then divide by 365 days. Put that figure aside. I hope you're really penning something down. Then let us look at clothing. How much clothes do you buy every day? So these things, what we are doing is to find the average, because you can't really get the exact figure. If you're able to do this in this part of the country, then you will have value for your money. I don't spend rubbish time with people. Every of my time is valued. So because I know that, hey, this is how much I must be earning every day, and I go to get down to do something that is productive, that is going to make me earn the particular amount I need to earn that day. So I've not even spoke about per hourly, but talking daily right now. So how much is it daily that you live in your accommodation? Don't forget, your total rent divided by 365 days will give you that figure. Now, clothing is your clothes. How much do you spend on clothing? Now, clothing is not just clothes. See my hair. I make my hair every month, right? I go to the salon every month. How much do I spend on that? How much of Maclean toothpaste do I buy every month? How much soap do I buy every month to even wash my clothes? Everything that has to do with your physical appearance, how much do you spend on it? You make your nails, you have your hairdo, you everything that has to do with your physical appearance. That's what is classified under clothing, right? So calculate it, do a calculation, right? So in a month, averagely, I don't know how much you spend. I want you to do that. Like I said initially, you might not really get all of the figures out, but try to do put everything together. That's why it's a challenge. You have the whole day tomorrow to do all of this, right? And then we'll get to The next thing. Then for transportation, that's T. You transport yourself everywhere you go to. Even if it's trekking that you do, you used to buy pure water on the road to drink so that you fuel your body, right? So transportation, how much do you spend on transportation monthly? Maybe you are going to work and all of those things. Now, the last one, which is S, is something else, right? Something else means you buy data, you gift somebody, you give offerings in church, you give someone a gift, you do so many other things. Maybe you don't have a family yet, your sister is calling you, I need so amount of money, you give them money, you give people allowance, your parents allowance or something, and all of that. Now, for a family person who is here, you have children and all of those things, you know that after you have done this for yourself, you have to times it by the number of people who you are catering for in your house. That's your wife or your children, right? That is how much, because especially if you are the head of the family, that's how much you spend on monthly, I mean daily. You do every other thing that you do that is aside from food, accommodation, clothing, and transportation. Every other things, the data you pay for, every other thing, how much can be the average that you can say that this is how much that you spend on every other thing. That's why it's called something else. And that is the fact of life, right? So divide it by 365 days or 30 days if you are doing monthly. Then add up all of these figures together: the food, the accommodation, the clothing, the transportation, and the something else for every day. And that is the average, not exact, the average of things you spend on every day. People will say, I don't spend on accommodation every day, but you live in your house every day, right? I don't spend on toothpaste. What's it called? Buying toothpaste every day, but you brush your teeth every day. So it means every fraction of that toothpaste that is going is what you are spending every day, and that's what you have been able to calculate. So how much is your fact of life? So when you have done that, remove the total amount of your expenditure daily. Now, everything you have calculated as your income source, remove the expenditure from your income source and let's know the amount. By tomorrow, we'll know who is owing themselves or who is just owing others, maybe, or who is actually free. Meaning that if you are to survive all by yourself, are you actually able to right now? I do this thing over and over again. I've been teaching this for years now. And every time I teach this, the room goes silent and everybody's just looking. So I'm even owing myself. Talk more of the people I've borrowed money from externally. A lot of people are owing themselves. Forget about the people you are owing outside now. If you have to settle yourself first, right? So, how much is it that you are owing yourself? If you are on minus, well, I thank God for your life. You have the knowledge because we spoke about the first thing is ignorance. So, when I say people are ignorant, it's not because they don't know, right? When you have been able to determine that how much you are owing yourself, that will inform a lot of other decisions that you are going to eventually make. It will inform how much you price your talents or your skills. It will inform how much you give out in the name of giving. Givers never lack, givers never lack. Well, it has its own context. Save. Money, financial stability has its own principle. You can't save your way to wealth. It's not possible. So add that up and determine how much you make. I mean, what your financial reality is, right? So let's move on to the next. On to the next. Now, setting financial goal or financial vision. Once you know your financial reality, I'm sure that would what your the figures you get will drive you to the actions to the next step. We talked about people not having financial goal, financial vision. What is your vision for the year? How much do you want to make by the end of this year, December 31st? How much do you want to say this is what is residual? Haven't spent every expenses for the year, how much do you want to see in your account that is residual? Haven't removed everything. Did you set that goal at the beginning of this year? Because without a financial vision, you'll just be drifting aimlessly. Don't forget what we said in that. So set smart goals and then create a budget. So let's go into looking at setting smart goals.